Hello and welcome to KMB Gaming and this Let's Play of The Sims 4 Life in the Asylum. It has been a wee while since we have done the Asylum challenge, mainly because of network issues making me unable to stream. That is the main issues surrounding why there hasn't been that many Sims streams available. But we are back with the Asylum, so all I can do is apologise for the lateness in this episode. So what happened last time? Well, last time we had obviously built the sheriff's apartment, which is on a separate Let's Build video. We then controlled the sheriff. We lost two of the inmates, Ruby and Pippi Long and Ruby Faith. They passed away. I put a challenge out there to say to take a picture of any Sims that you wanted me to make, and I would try and make them as best I possibly can, or give me any ideas. Unfortunately, I only had one idea, but I haven't seen a picture of them, so I would like to see a picture of any Sims that you would like me to make to replace Ruby Faith and Poppy Long. So we need two Sims to replace them, and then we can carry on. Hello CTR, thank you for joining. So let's carry on. So he's having his dinner and he needs the toilet, so we will get him to go to the loo. He's going to go to the loo himself, so we don't really need him to get him to do that. Right, so he's pretty desperate. See how everyone else is doing. So Fandolin is sleeping. Frederick is not happy. And there's Sandra there. And so they're arguing or talking amongst each other. They are all pretty stinky. So if we, maybe as the sheriff, we go down and yell at them because they need to go and have a shower, because let's be mean and yell at, because he needs to go and basically sort himself out. How do I access the Sims library? I need to figure out how I access it. So he's gonna go and yell at Frank because he is stinky and he's stinking the place up. Doesn't like this because it's untidy. And he is stinking, so he's not happy with that at all. So I mean, the asylum's actually looking pretty clean and tidy. Actually, they've done a pretty good job. I think maybe it was Poppy Long and Ruby Faith that were maybe causing the most mess by the looks of it, and with them gone, and with obviously them gone, then perhaps they right, so we'll just replace that for now. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cough. So Jared kind of went in there, didn't really do an awful lot. So maybe if we go upstairs, and what's his needs like? He's quite tired, so he's going to have a snooze on the bench downstairs on one of the sofas. That's fine. Remembering, obviously, if a Sim is naughty, we've got the room downstairs where it can be kept in, where, if you remember, that is where Ruby Faith and Poppy Long died. So there's not an awful lot going on in the asylum. Everyone's kind of behaving themselves, which is kind of good. And I think so. He was. They didn't get on, those two. Oh no, Ruby Faith and him didn't get on. So they're chatting. So let's wake him up, because his energy's up. He's actually in a pretty good place. So Frank's gonna go, because Frank was told to go. Was yelled at because he needs to shower. As I think he's actually going for now. So I'm going to get the sheriff. He's going to come and he's going to play some video games just to kind of while away the time. But there doesn't seem to be an awful lot going on in the asylum at the moment. There's nothing drastic happening. There's no arguments. So people are, they're a bit stinky, which is not ideal because obviously we want them to be clean and tidy and smelling nice, and we want the asylum to be nice. We don't really want it to be untidy, so they need to wash. But Frank has been yelled at already, so I think Frank needs to go and spend some time in solitary confinement. I think he needs to be disciplined because he was yelled at and he hasn't done. Obviously we can't tell them to go and do what they obviously we can't tell them to go and do things, but he has been told that he needs to go and have a shower. Well, that's what we told him, as in us yelling at him, but he hasn't, so he's been put in solitary confinement. He'll be there until 12 o'clock tomorrow, so he's going to be there for a whole day. Hopefully he won't die, but he is on red. He is very, very hungry, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did, and if he does, he does. I'm not going to cry about it, but at the same time, so the sheriff is, I think, asleep. Yep, the sheriff's asleep, so that's fine. Jared's going into his room. He's taken a room there, and you haven't done it already, CTR. No, you haven't. Fandlin is asleep in there. Where's Frederick? So Sandra's putting a book away, tidying up. Good girl. She's being nice and tidy. I don't know where Frederick is. Where's Frederick? Oh, he's standing in the bathroom, right. Okay, so Jared's just wet himself. So he's not having a good time at all. And he's not having a very good time of it at all. So we need to, well, we've got how many inmates? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we've got 6 bedrooms. We need to make this a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to block off one of the bedrooms, simply because until we get more inmates, we need to make it a little bit more exciting. So I'm not going to get rid of the rooms because we could do with the rooms, but I was going to take the doors away to those rooms, just to make it a little bit more exciting, so that when they are tired and that, then they actually have to try and fight for a room like they did in the start. Because having 6 inmates and 6 rooms means that everybody can sleep, and what we want is it to be a challenge for them, to make it difficult for them. So he needs to go have something to eat, I think, when he wakes up. Cook. Let's see what he can cook. Let's cook some grilled cheese. We'll do single serving, and then he can have a shower. Let's see how everyone else is. Jared, he needs to go spend some time in solitary confinement, I think, because he wet himself and did anything about it. So he's really not in a, so Frank is really not in a very good place right now. He's very, very hungry indeed. He's stinky and he's got no energy and he's not having any fun. But he's in solitary confinement because he was told to go and have a shower, but he didn't. So he's been put into solitary confinement for that reason. And then Jared will be the next one to go in there because he wet himself and didn't do anything about it. So obviously that is... I haven't done the Asylum challenge in 2 weeks, so I knew this had to be the one that I had to get done, because I did something a week ago and didn't do the Asylum challenge. That's why it is being done now, because it needs to be done. Right. So he's had his shower. Let's get him to go on the computer. He can find vampire secrets, search for information on vampires, just as like a side hobby. I think what would be quite interesting, what I might do, vampire, because then they can I don't know, they can maybe feed on the other inmates and make them into vampires. I think that would be a cool little twist. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think that would be a good idea, then I shall certainly do that, but if you think that wouldn't be a good idea, then I won't. But I do think this mansion is pretty good. So we've got a nice big kitchen for them, and I do think it's a pretty solid mansion. I mean, I'm happy with it. Obviously there's not long corridors or anything like that, but... Right, so he's going to go more in Ruby. There's an email to get. So I think he quite liked Ruby. Quite like Poppy as well. And then what I could do is I could have, if we do decide to go ahead and have a vampire, then we could have a coffin room up in the attic, so we have another set of stairs. Or maybe in the basement we have another set of stairs going down to a separate room in the basement where he can go and sleep, or he or she can go and sleep, to get the vampiric powers up. I think that would be kind of awesome. Right, so it is soon time for Frank to come out of solitary confinement. Well, I don't think this Asylum challenge is going to go on much longer. I don't think there's an awful lot more that can be done. And he's just fallen asleep in his own puddle of pee. It is time for him to come out. He has served his time in solitary confinement. He's done well to serve his time in solitary confinement, I must say. He survived that well. Hopefully that will be a message to him to say, don't do it again. Listen to the sheriff when he yells at you. And if he does do it again, then he'll just be back into solitary confinement again. So we'll get Frank to go and have a shower, because I'll just take control of him, and then take a shower after that, because you stink. We'll go and get some food first. So where's Jared? I think Jared was the one I was going to send to next, or he cleaned it up, so I think I'm going to let him do his thing. I'm going to let him off because he cleaned it. But if he hadn't cleaned it, then I wouldn't do it. He wouldn't get off so lightly. So I hope you guys are enjoying these series of Sims challenges that I've been doing. I will be starting the vampire series possibly tomorrow night. So keep up to date with that. Obviously, depending on, usually I've got my schedule is Monday morning, but I'm off work tomorrow, so there could possibly be a stream on Monday night. So we will see. But yeah, if it is a sim stream, it will be the vampires. So I need to get that stream started. So if that is the case, then great. Right, let's get. So he's had a shower. So let's get him to bed because he needs to go and sleep. I don't want another death on my hands. What's wrong with him? Why is he angry? Why is he angry? It doesn't say why he's angry. Where is he? He's storming about somewhere. Good, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So he's not feeling angry anymore, but I think he still needs to get it off his chest. He needs to have an argument. Oh, he's angry again. He's angry again. So it's something to do with. Right, so the oven is broken, so we'll just replace it. It's just easier to replace things as it stands than to just let them remain broken. Oh, who's this? Why does she want to come in? I don't even know who she is. Right, so he needs to go to bed because he is tired, so let's get him to bed. Have you played any Breath of the Wild yet, CTR? So he's very uncomfortable, so he needs to go to sleep. Because otherwise he's just going to collapse, and that will not be good for anybody. Right, so Frederick is cooking. But he's heartbroken about something. Sandra's come in. I think she's angry, well, upset about the fact that obviously she was shouted at. So they've got a visitor, but they don't know who. She's a bit weird. Maybe she can be inaugurated into the asylum. Right, so Jared is standing around and not doing. It's a very, very random question, but I'm impartial. Doesn't really bother me. So Jared is now cooking level 3. I think it would be cool if I did hire a chef for them, but maybe that's something we could do. Save them having to cook all the time. Because you would have other workers here, wouldn't you? So we'll hire a service. Hire a service. So when he wakes up, he can get that hired. So we can hire. Oh dear. Frank is dying. Oh no. Oh no. Well, well, well. Frank has died. That is another one gone the way of the Reaper. Sandra's just reading. Well, well, well. Goodbye, Frank. Right, so these people seem to be dying on a quite a regular basis, which is a little bit worrying. But we now have 3 Sims to replace. Is that a vampire? I think we have a vampire at the door. And Poppy Long has come out to pay Vandalin a visit. I think we have a vampire at the door. I believe. But I don't... Skinny bastard. Right, so Frank is dead. Yeah, it's Master Vampire at the door. Let's not invite the Master Vampire in. Or maybe we should. Actually. Vandalin, greet the vampire. Invite the vampire in that. Oh, so what are you going to do, Mr. Vampire? Right, so.
Yips. So what a new line. Abim. Muscat tree. Yaslabakar. Tiba Bamel. So what a beamy. On to Baglassi.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. But. Right, so. Where's the sheriff? What's the sheriff doing? Where is the sheriff? He's not in a great state of affairs. He's having some food, but I don't know where he's having the food. Oh, he's taking it from downstairs. Yeah, I'm not going to allow him to do that. He's going to sit and have his breakfast with... Who's he having dinner with? Poppy Long. He's having dinner with the ghost of Poppy Long. Confess about the fear of vampires. And he is out there sobbing over Sims he didn't know. So we now have 3 ghosts which could potentially haunt the asylum. 1, 2, 4 inmates, and so we need to close off another door once they wake up to make it only 2 bedrooms. Make it a little more interesting. Excuse me. Excuse me, I just sneezed. Right, so he's had his food. So it's just another inmate that has gone the way of the Reaper. So he's playing that. He's obviously not that bothered about, and they're all asleep. Obviously not too bothered about the death of Frank. So it's partly our own fault because we put Frank in solitary confinement for so long. Well, he was only in there for 12 hours, but he wasn't in a good state when we put him in there. But at the end of the day, if he's not going to do as he's told, then how is he going to learn? Right, so level 3 reached of video gaming. So that's what he kind of likes to do in his spare time. So let's have breakfast. We'll have scrambled eggs with bacon.
Oh, Haspa! Haspa!
Oh, no luck. The head vampire's died. Vladislaus Stroud has just burnt up outside because he was in the sunlight for too long. So does that mean I'm going to have another gravestone there? I really hope not. Or how does it work? I don't know how it works for vampires. We've got another gravestone. Because he died on the plot, I suppose. Here we have another gravestone. Our graveyard is getting filled up rather quickly. At least this one had nothing to do with us. It wasn't like my fault at all. But it's quite interesting that we've got 4 gravestones now. One of them looks a little bit different because of it being a vampire. Yeah, absolutely. He would have seen it being light, but he obviously just stayed. But that just goes to show how being a vampire in The Sims and how much it can have an impact on you, and how much obviously you need to think about your setting, your circumstances. Is your sim, going to be inside all the time or what? Well, that's quite interesting. We've had another two deaths in this episode. And one of which had nothing to do with me. So like I say, our graveyard is getting slightly bigger. It's a shame because I would have liked him to have bitten one of the inmates and turned them into a vampire. That would have been kind of cool to have seen that, or seen his vampiric form. Or the Death Wish, yeah. Right guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. It's going to be a rather short episode in this one, but thank you very much for joining, guys. Join me tomorrow when I shall be doing Assassin's Creed Origins, possibly some Kingdom Hearts, and if you are lucky, a Sims 4 Vampires stream in the evening. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.